All right. Clark, let me call this meeting. Leominster School Committee. 5. Committee represents the needs of all Leominster Public Schools, places their interests above all others. Exercise leadership, adhere to our protocols, and base our decisions upon the reason, assessment, all available information. We'll advocate for each of our schools. I'll go to the public departments. Anyone that would like to address the school committee, if so, forward your name, please, for the record.
All right, looks good. Well, thank you, Chairman and Leominster School Committee. My name is Rob McNerney. I taught math at Leominster High School in 2022 to 23, and I live on Berlin Street. And so I'm here tonight to blow the whistle on a problem in Leominster. As a Christian parent and educator, I feel obligated to inform you that Leominster High School requires teachers to lie about minor children, even to their own parents. At a child's request and without parental consent, teachers must comply with the child's wishes to change their name, pronoun, or otherwise transition their gender identity. And moreover, if the child so wishes, teachers must hide this gender transition from the parents. In March of 2023, a student requested that I support them in this kind of deception, that I call the student by one name and gender in class, but use their given name and pronouns whenever I communicated with their parents. The administration backed up the student's request and clarified for me that the school's governing policy is in fact intentional duplicity on this point. I explained that due to my Christian convictions, I could not engage in this kind of deception. And on June 2nd, the administration denied my request for a religious accommodation. And 1 week later, while teaching a class, I was abruptly called down to an unannounced meeting where I was informed my contract was not being renewed, purportedly due to classroom management issues. You, the school committee, and Leominster parents need to know that the school is circumventing families and substituting itself as confidant and counselor to our children on these vital moral issues. Confuse a vulnerable child while keeping their parents in the dark until the lies have taken over. This is evil. My voice as an employed Christian teacher was silenced, but my responsibility before God and before all of you and all Leominster parents remains. So I urge you, please examine the statement that I'm submitting along with the evidence and defend the sacred responsibility of parents to safeguard the hearts and minds of their children and uphold the God-given standards of truth-telling and gender. Thank you.
Thank you. And you'll leave a copy with us, you say?
Certainly, Chairman.
I mean, we didn't know you were going to speak on this, so we'll look into it and have the policy committee and report back to the rest of us.
Thank you, Chairman.
Right.
Should I leave it right here?
Thank you. Sure. You can give it to Chris. All right. Thank you. All right. Anyone else like to address the school committee? And please, if you, we usually will let people speak to anything they want, as long as it's on the agenda. If we don't know about it, then if you'd like to have something on the agenda, you can make a request through the secretary to the chair, and then we'll go from there. Anyone else like to address the committee? One more time? One last time? If not, we'll close this portion of the meeting. We'll now move on to communications. Are there any communications, Mr. Mamoni? Any communications?
No communications.
We'll move on to the student report. Mr. Tyler.
All right. So the LHS theater program's play The Unraveling is competing in the state one-act play competition. They did 2 performances last week at Leominster High School, which went very well. The LHS music department wants me to report that the Chorus in the Round concert and Leominster Band Day concert was held, which featured over 300 chorus students and 250 band students from every school in the district. The Ignition Show Choir, which runs from February through April, have so far attended 4 competitions and have earned 3 silver medals and 1 bronze medal. And the next competition for Ignition Show Choir will be held on Saturday, March 23rd in Rhode Island. And then yesterday, the LHS Chorus attended the UMass Lowell High School Choral Invitation, where students performed with students from the university and 2 other high school choirs. And then lastly, from the music department, congratulations to 9th grader CJ Evans, who was accepted in the Massachusetts Music Educators Association all-state chorus, and he will be performing at Symphony Hall in Boston on Saturday, March 23rd. The Worcester County Superintendent's Association Scholar Luncheon is being held this Thursday at Holy Cross. Seniors Marielle Howlett, Emma Miller, and Nina Marchetti will be honored. LHS students took tests in foreign languages to try and earn a seal of biliteracy, a special recognition on their transcripts and diploma that they have demonstrated fluency in English and a foreign language. 32 students took the test. 2 students' results are still pending, and 21 have earned the seal so far. Then the annual art show opened on Thursday at City Hall with a reception, and the artwork by students from across the district is still on display. Another thing is course selection for 8th through 11th graders is going on this week, where students will select their electives online, and then ELA MCAS is happening next week, next Tuesday and Wednesday, and there will be a half day on Friday to observe Good Friday. And then in athletics, Leominster High School spring athletic teams are beginning their first week of tryouts today, so we wish them the best of luck on their season. That's it.
Nice. Been a busy streak. Many successes. All right, thank you. Now we'll move on to superintendent's report. Is there a superintendent?
Mr. Mayor, my good friend, student report took the 3 things that I had
Imagine
today.
that.
So he did a fine, thorough job. So I'm going to turn it back to you.
All right, thank you. We're going to now move on to fiscal year 24 finance overview. And this is going to be done by Melanie, Mike, and Butch Nato. He starts with the agenda. So.
Sure.
Hi, guys. Apologies. I just need 1 second to get remoted in to pull up the.
You take your time.
You've got time.
The sun's still up. Now, what does this all mean? Finance overview for 2024? Is this kind of updating on where we're at?
We thought we'd give you an overview of all the wonderful things that we've done over the year. And show you a few photos and give you some warm and fuzzies. Right there. So while he's, I think we can, we're gonna have Butch give you the update on some of his maintenance and facility updates that have been happening, and then we're gonna run through the slideshow and show you some of the good things that we've put in place.
All right.
So
Give you some of the warm and fuzzy stuff, I guess. We've been very busy again this year, and a lot of people are involved in what facilities does on a daily basis. I just want to take a quick second to, just thank some of those people. Assistant Director Bill Sullivan and our new Safety and Security Specialist Rick Bergeron. They've been phenomenal. Melanie Michaels, Lorraine Sapola, and their staff for their continued support with the procurement process and payments. All central office personnel and our administration throughout the district, schools for the commitment and support. I want to give a special thank you to some city staff. Have to mention Greg Chaplin and Meredith Tarr, who've been working tirelessly in getting all of our bids out and working with the procurement process. The DPW for answering all of our calls, and we call upon them at any time. Police fire for assisting us in keeping our building safe through daily oversight and building inspections. And Joe Pori has been instrumental this year with all the electrical things that we've been working on, especially when we have our power outages. And finally, our contractors, Boss Mechanical, Renard, and Daigle, for without them, we would be lost. They are absolutely phenomenal. To go through a few of the district-wide things that we've done, it's fun to report that all HVACR plumbing systems are working as specified. The district continues to be in the preventive maintenance stage, and repairs that are needed are corrective as they are received. New boilers, we have new boilers now at Northwest, Priest. Samoset's has been fully rebuilt, and we are in discussion in regards to Johnny Appleseed and Bennett. District-wide safety and security, again, got to mention Rick Bergeron on this one. This again, throughout the district, we are upgrading cameras to an IP base, upgrading access controls to proximity cards, which are key fobs throughout the district. District-wide reunification training. We're having night lock classroom shades and exterior windows tinted again for safety. A little bit more on district-wide. I think some of this will be getting into here, so I'll go real quick. The new playgrounds, we have a completed. Okay. There it is.
JA's new playground. Nice, safe.
There should be another one in there.
At Northwest. Go. And up and coming.
Late spring. Real quick. Okay, so those are the playgrounds. So gymnasium upgrades. All the gymnasium floors have been stripped, refinished, and painted. Samoset now has new bleachers. Northwest, Johnny Appleseed, and Leominster High School will be getting new bleachers. I know that was a concern last year about the broken, so we did address that. And we're going to be doing new hoops and backboards. At this point, LHS is complete. Northwest, Johnny Appleseed, Francis Drake are coming soon. Northwest will be getting new windows too in the gymnasium.
Safety, all safety upgrades. Samoset looking very good there.
And they have the new bleachers.
Yep, their new bleachers with the railing.
Have a new screen. That screen was
Oh,
new
yeah.
too. The divider was put into.
High school.
And again, that's going to be kind of the same, but we actually replacing everything, and they're going to have the Blue Devil picture on the stands now too. Yeah. Okay, we're going to be looking at some new digital signs this year. Northwest, Johnny Appleseed, and at Priest Street. The media centers, Leominster High School and Samoset have been completed, and Northwest will be coming soon. Sitting down. That's not my legs.
Got all new seating and it gives the kids a lot of options for learning and group activities. School, all updated from the floor up. Northwest is up and coming.
And yeah, when we do these media centers, it's all new furniture, new carpet, everything's painted. They look, spectacular when they're all done. Have here. Again, we're trying to come into line with the green initiative lately, and we're having new LED lighting put in. At this point, LHS, Priest Street, and Bennett are complete. Francis Drake and Johnny Appleseed are due to happen this summer. And again, Melanie Michaels, Jennifer Remington, and Jim Pamarini have been on this since the beginning. So I thank them very much for that.
You don't have to be at the auditorium.
We're going to get to,
Next one.
we're there right now. Yep. LHS, new auditorium lighting, and we are working on getting the ceiling repaired and repainted, and that should be happening soon too. The whole, every light in there, it's all been updated. All fixed, all fixed,
To test your patience.
all fixed. And we have to point out that also in the front of the flagpole ensigns, we're going to be having bollards put in the front of the school. Again, that's another safety bollard. A few things with CTE. CTE has, the electrical trade has a new cargo van now. The auto mechanic trade, just received a brand new tire machine. The auto body technology, we just had a brand new paint booth exhaust installed in that system. And at this point, we have on order, we have one new bus for them. Okay, so LCE is a new building. Oh, you had to ask, right? Little apprehensive about giving a date right now. I know that it's not right now. I think it's not, I can't give it definitive. All I know is that it's a little different construction procedure because usually with construction, you have one, like Whitney would be doing the entire project. But when we get involved and we're having our systems put in, it's kind of like a juggling game and we had a couple issues with the scheduling. I can tell you right now that things are looking really good. The walls are insulated. They're being sheetrock, mudded and taped now. So all the rough electrical's been done. All the rough plumbing's been done. So, I mean, that's the point we're at now. I mean, it could go real smooth. We could be in sooner or not. So,
I gotta assume by September.
I'm hoping.
yeah,
Oh, but
yeah.
I mean,
I'm hoping
it's
before
already
that too.
April in 2 weeks, so I mean, you got 2 months left, or two and a half
Right.
months left.
Yeah, I'm definitely hoping by then. Yes. So- all right, CT, I mentioned them. So that's the new tire machine. So if you look at the top left corner, okay, that was the old spray exhaust and we were having a lot, I don't know if you mentioned it, but they were, you know, getting some smells out of there. Okay, and if you look to the right, that's the brand new one. Okay, not only did we also switched it over from oil to gas. So it's been great for that class right now. I believe we did a compressor too in there. The compressors on it. We also, the old compressor system that fed many of the shops in there, that has been all brand new too, so. Yeah, I'll just give you a couple more things, and then if you have any questions for me, I'll be happy to answer them. Just give you some from each school. At Samoset, they're finally gonna be getting a new intercom system. Skyview, we're doing one major roof repair on the front of the building, and we're adding a bi-directional antenna, a BDA, and that was recommended to us, you know, through we had some meetings through there with fire and police, and their radio communications weren't getting out of the building like they were supposed to. So we are adding a bi-directional antenna, which will improve that tremendously for the police and fire. Fallbrook, the new generator is in. We'll be installing that over the summer. And of course, you know, we're working on the school. Francis Drake, we're working on replacing the portable buildings. That's in process right now. And for summer school programs, we're updating the air conditioning. So 15 classrooms are getting air conditioners plus 4 mini splits in the office, nurse, and 1 in a classroom. Northwest, they're getting gymnasium window replacements. And again, they're getting updated air conditioning because they own the summer school programs. And they're getting 15 air conditioners and 1 mini split. Free Street had mini splits added to the cafeteria and teachers room, and Bennett has had a mini split added to the office. And that's what I got. Is any questions?
I'd have to say the custodian's been doing a great job maintaining the building.
Yes.
And thereafter, they're working hard and they take pride in what they're doing. You definitely tell them.
Thank you.
They do look great.
All
Quick
right.
question, any update on the portables at some of the schools,
The portables where?
like Francis Drake, Pre-Street?
Pre-Street, I'll talk about Pre-Street and Bennett first. Pre-Street and Bennett, because of when we went to do the, start the process, unfortunately, it became unaffordable to the grants. So what we did is I had the entire buildings all redone, all their exhaust systems were repaired. We had mini splits added to all the building, plumbing updated, electrical updated. So those portables now are running the way they should be. As for Francis Drake right now, we do have a preliminary design. And that is now with Greg Chapelain and Meredith Tar. And that should be going out to bid very soon.
Air conditioners in mini. Is there a movement? Mini splits there and remove air conditioners?
No, what we're doing is we're trying to, during summer school, the classrooms at Francis Drake and Northwest where we use for summer school, they're extremely hot. I mean, they're getting to 80, 90 degrees. So we felt that it's, you know, to help improve the learning environment. We're adding window air conditioners to the classrooms, okay, which means we have them professionally installed. We have those put in any area that requires more tonnage or more square footage and we can't use window air conditioning, we're adding a mini split system.
I guess basically, is there a cost difference? Air conditioning.
Mini splits are definitely, you know, probably 4 times the money, 5 times the money to install them. So it's not something that'd be feasible throughout the district compared to, you know, the window air conditioners. So if you ask me if it'd be possible to put mini splits throughout the district, it would be an unbelievable cost. Much more economical for us to do window air conditioners in the classroom.
In terms of maintenance.
Well, since we're basically on a maintenance program now with Renat. In fact, they're at the high school right now for 3 days. We make sure yearly that they go through the mini splits when they're going through the systems. So that's the maintenance on that. Mini splits, I think there's a lot less maintenance on them. Okay, you can go a lot longer in time opposed to the window air conditioners, which we like to have looked at yearly. And we used to have the CTE's HVAC trade used to come out, they would clean them all out and do them for us. At this point, you know, I think we're getting 10 to 12 years out of a window air conditioner. So by the time we get to the life, I mean, you're talking $600 or $700 for a window air conditioner. So versus a minimum for a 1.5 ton mini split installed, we're probably at about $12,000.
That's basically
Mhm.
Which one is more sustainable or is sustainable? Mini splits versus the window air conditioning.
It's it's kind of a catch-22 question. If you're looking at longevity and time and efficiency, without question, it's going to be a mini split. It's just not something feasible. If you're looking at you know, more practicality, it would be the windows. If you're looking at energy use, mini splits are definitely use less energy than an air conditioner.
Saying that
Northwest.
Some of
In
the-
some
of the
areas.
Hear me? I'm sorry, I couldn't hear me.
So Ron, basically, you take whatever the application is, you look at it individually. If it looks like they need a split, they get a split. If not, you just get regular room air conditioners. Those are pretty efficient if you get the energy saver on them. And they might work just fine. In a room like this, if you could do a mini split, fine. But I bet you could probably do 2 big decent sized air conditioners, but probably air conditioners just fine.
And some of the rooms just aren't conducive. to putting
Yeah.
the mini split.
Can't get
Some of
the,
buildings are
can't
just
get, right, you
older.
just can't get anything to the close to running the necessary hardware to get to the mini split. So
You know.
some applications it works great, others it just doesn't.
Yeah, no.
I know what it is. Balancing act between mini splits and air conditioning. That's what I was asking about. Sustainability in terms of maintenance.
Right.
Maintenance, capital M, capital E and everything in between. It's more with the air conditioning. but mini splits.
Yeah.
So,
Do we, how often do we rent out the auditorium at the high school? I know we used to the church prior to
Bill might be. answering
COVID,
that.
but now they've moved to the nights and
Bill is heading up the sign all the contracts now and make sure that everybody has their necessary
Liability, yep.
insurance paperwork. So I think that that probably has slowed a few down. We don't do the church isn't around anymore, Bill, but
No,
maybe
they-
you can answer.
they're at the Knights of
Oh, yeah,
Columbus.
yes, yep, the dancing is definitely up there.
So how many times a year, would you say? I mean, that could put. Right. So we should, I think we should, our policy we changed a while ago, and that was to have, I'm not sure we still do it, but our policy was to have a binder or something, a log at each building. So you could see which dates, either the auditoriums or the gymnasiums. Right. So that way, if somebody wanted to use want to rent the gymnasium, April 9th, they could go in, and if it's available, then they could rent it. So do we still have that? Is that public so people can, where do they go to find this out?
Robin,
It'll go to Robin, she'll figure out whether or not the space is available. Because that's the the auditorium is a potential. That's a big auditorium, one of the biggest around. And we spent a lot of money when we did the renovation. And if we could rent that, and I'm not sure how many people actually realize that we'd rent it. That's a revenue source for us. What does it cost to rent, Bill? Offhand? Between a custodian and a rental fee?
I was gonna say.
Yeah, I don't-
The custodial fees, they are what they are, right? So if you're renting on a Saturday.
Right.
You get their double time fee, excuse me, their overtime fee. If you're renting on a Sunday, you get their double time fee. During the middle of the week, it's much cheaper because we already have a custodian there on site.
And then the rental fee is how much? An hour
It's not
for the whole time?
it's very, very inexpensive.
Cheaper to have a birthday party there than it is to go take your kids down to one of these places, hire a magician and make them all and entertain them for a few hours. Right, Tyler? Could have a pot, huh? All right, thank you. Nice job. Making progress. All right, now we'll move on to, Leominster Polar has a SOA plan.
I believe you all have, but
We
in
do.
front of you as well.
It says SOA at least 800 times a day.
That means that you read it, so thank you.
Student Opportunity Act.
Yes. Thank you for having me here this evening on the agenda. Just a quick little bit of background information. The Student Opportunity Act came through the state starting back in 2019. The state did a review of the Chapter 70 formula, which is pretty complicated. And they realized that there were a number of districts that were historically underfunded based on the demographics and the student populations that they had. So they did pass a law, and it was implemented with funding through 2027. Then COVID came along, and they had to slow things down a little bit as far as the implementation and providing the funding to the districts. We had a 3-year plan in place, which held for about 4.5 years, and now they're asking us to provide a 3-year plan for the next 3 years going forward. Part of the law that was passed did say that we needed to have this plan. It needed to be reviewed by and voted on and accepted by our school committee. So that's why I'm here for you this evening. A little bit of a difference between what we would consider our district strategic plan and the, call it SOA for short. The strategic plan that Superintendent Deacon and her team put together is a very comprehensive plan to service all parts of the district. The SOA plan really focuses on a subset of the overall initiatives that the district has, and the purpose is to address disparities in learning and outcomes by implementing evidence-based programs. So we're asked to do some data research, which we do a lot of, and we focus on student groups, demographic groups and other high-risk groups to determine which we need to be servicing. And then we are given choices of evidence-based programs that we can select in order to implement and then monitor the learning experiences and outcomes for the students. So what you have in front of you is the plan going forward for the next 3 years. It's been on the website. We've asked for any feedback or suggestions from a variety of groups, including all of our school-based teams, and then the school councils, our special education parent advisory council, our English language learner advisory council. And again, Paula did, or Superintendent Deacon did send information out in a Sunday memo that they could look at this online. And there's a form providing us with any suggestions that people have. It will come as no surprise to you all that the groups that we are targeting with these funds are our English learners, our students with disabilities, students living in poverty, and the ethnic group Hispanic/Latino. The two pieces that we're focusing on as far as focus areas and then implementing our evidence-based programming are implementing a multi-tiered system of support, another acronym, MTSS, that helps all students progress both academically and in their social, emotional, and behavioral development. And the other one that we're looking at is our implementing high-quality curriculum materials. We have started that process, well on the way for ELA and mathematics. Science and social studies are coming on board. So along with purchasing the curriculum materials, we are also using content specialists to help our teachers to implement effectively. So those are the two big pieces that we are looking to target with these funds. And we have to keep track of it and progress monitor and provide information to the state every single year of the plan, see how we're doing. They're putting a metric in place for our high needs students, and they're going to set a target for us. Haven't set it for us yet, but they will set a target, and then we will monitor our progress toward that target. It really includes their results on MCAS across the entire district in ELA, math, and science. We're also going to be using the access assessment. We have an accountability target for each child who is an English learner, and they have a certain number of years that they're progressing towards their mastery of the English language, and they need to attain an increment every year for 6 years. So we monitor their mastery, or if they've reached their incremental target each year. That's another metric that we're going to be using here in Leominster.
And do we have a review of where we've been already? I mean, you say that we have to submit something to the state showing them our progress.
Yes,
Do we have something
I
to-
don't have that with me tonight. I
that.
certainly, yes. And we are making gains, and we are closing the gap for our L students at the elementary and middle school level. Our students did reach the target that we had set as far as the incremental gains in access. And we are also seeing gains for our special education students in ELA, not as far as we want in math, but we're working on it. So I'll get you that information.
Questions? Mr. Ron, go ahead.
Are you going to present in 3 months how it's going, or how are you going to report back up? Graphs?
Sure. And I know that Renee Koska has come to you with implementation information. One of the things that we do have is quite an array of assessments that we monitor for our students. So we can certainly add in the curriculum implementation goals that we have to those. And I believe she comes to the sessions at least twice, but we can add another one in for the year if you'd like.
Can you hear me? The protocol and tools such as curate and ed reports. Start fighting it. What exactly are those? Can you give us an example
Sure.
what curate and ed report is?
Yes.
One versus the other, is one better than the other, or?
They both do approximately the same thing. Ed Reports is a nationally run program that vets all of the curriculum products. It's been,
State?
no, across the country. Yes, it's been a game changer. Basically, publishers need to present their curriculum products to the Ed Reports. They're vetted through a variety of rubrics, and then they get a score. And in Leominster, we have chosen not to even look at curriculum unless it's green, green, green across the board.
Because
That they're given the highest level of rating for their implementation, for being culturally diverse, and for their ability to show evidence that students are learning with the programs. Curate is Massachusetts' version of that. So it's a little closer focused. Basically, they take the Ed Reports things. They may also be doing a little bit more with some Massachusetts grown curriculum products, but they do the same thing for us. They provide us with some great information by more knowing others, and it narrows the focus when we all are choosing the curriculum that we would like our students to have.
does that put us at a disadvantage if we can't find out what we're doing wrong? Or am I all mixed up in that?
Well, it definitely does not put us at a disadvantage. There are publishers, many, many, many publishers out there who are trying to get their products purchased. And so this now is a process to vet them, to provide us a rating on every single one that they've looked at with the same criteria. So if the publisher does not get a green, 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 they get a green and orange, or they get a red, then the publishers go back to the drawing board and they fix it and they put it forward for review again. So they're basically doing a lot of due diligence for us. We don't have to then do that here in the district.
Right, other questions?
Yes.
Go ahead, Greg.
Yeah, thank you. Talk to me a little bit about our behavior management and what that looks like, and how, if you talk to parents or teachers, how they feel as though we've been doing from a behavior management standpoint this year.
I don't know that I'm the person to speak to that.
Okay.
I do know that part of MTSS, or the multi-tiered system of support, is not just about academics. It's also about behavioral and social emotional wellness. We are focusing on putting in implementing programs in all three of those areas.
Okay, that's fair. I mean, I would like to, and we could bring this up under new and old business, but I think we should talk a little bit about behavior management and get a better understanding of what these tiers look like, how we're doing. Separate conversation, but
Chris, can we put it on tentatively for the next meeting? I'm sure we're going to be getting into the budget soon. Will it be for the next meeting?
But are you talking,
First,
I
okay.
guess just a question, are you talking about behavior management across system wide, or
Yes,
as it
not-
pertains to
not a
this
particular,
subgroup?
yeah, so that's why I wanted to. say,
Right,
let's
so I
talk
don't
about
think
it.
that's different than us voting on this, because you're looking
Agreed,
at
yep,
it.
agreed,
as the
agreed.
whole
That's why I said I could bring it up under new or old business.
Okay.
Just a quick question on the engaging of families and caretakers. What are we doing with the families that are having troubles in getting them engaged or not participating in some of these shops and such?
It's not a small question.
I know.
And we used our social media as much as we possibly can. Our website has been updated and people have the ability to basically hit a button and have everything translated that they need to. It seems that our English language learner families are becoming more and more facile with that. So we're trying to provide them the opportunity to see everything that's translated. Use the acronym our CPAC and our LPAC. They do deal with some disenfranchised people, and they're very good. We have a great relationship with them. There was a wonderful activity on Saturday that brought in families that we wouldn't necessarily have seen through the educational system. So that's another way that we do that. And then we do rely on the schools to do outreach to their specific families because they know a little bit better than we may know at the district level. But it's an ongoing process.
Yeah, I just want to make sure everybody has the same opportunities across the board. and
Thank
that
you.
No one's getting left out.
Okay, Eileen made a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
All right, any other questions or comments? If not, all in favor? Those opposed? The ayes have it. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Now move on to the superintendent search.
Sure, we have our,
Today.
yeah, we have our first meeting tomorrow. And we hope to, have the finalists and everybody all, vetted and ready for the full committee. I think April 9th is our last date if we need it. And then we would bring it to the committee,
There
with
have
the
been,
finalists.
there have been people have asked to be on the committee. We're like maxed out over by like two, I think, right? An extra one or two. So.
A lot of people wanted.
It's nice that people wanted to get involved, but at some point there has to be, and we were advised to keep it to like 15, I think, and I think we're at like 17 right now. So we're really maxed out. So, but I think we've covered, everyone's represented. Everyone has a voice, so we're in good shape. All right. Now move on to item 2C. That's the organizational chart. It's in the book. It's like this. I don't know if we have a slide on it. So what I was trying to get to is, this is our organizational Leominster Public School chart. And I assume this is like central office and so where, it's kind of dark. I have a copy of a copy, I guess. So mine's darkened out, if you don't mind. I got the generic one. I got the, whatever they call the one that costs more money. I get the last. Economy, yes. Same thing, but, all right. So it starts off the superintendent, assistant superintendent for human resources. Now, Steve, all these here, you're the only person that handles all of these things here?
No, some of them, thank goodness. Central office staff, they shares a lot of responsibilities individually. We also do some teamwork. So if you look down under, for example, district technology services is under my role because of my past position, but also you'll see technology under Renee Costa because we share that in that Renee works a lot with the curriculum part of technology and I'm more on the oversight. That's just one example, but in a lot of instances, we share some roles. Maureen is also involved in a lot of areas, and so I could identify other areas that she also is. She's not just grants, she's not just assessments, but she works a lot in budgeting because of the grants, and so there's a lot of overlap, and I thought the chart maybe showed that by the incorporation of that rectangle surrounding the entire second part of it.
All right, here's what I'm trying to get to. We're going to start interviewing for a new superintendent.
Yes,
New
sir.
superintendent should understand, when they're going through the search, the dynamics and how we're structured. They may be a superintendent somewhere else or principal, and just to get an understanding. So if I'm looking at this, there is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 people that do all of this, according to this chart.
Pretty close.
There are no other people that assist you?
Well, no, that's
Oh.
the cabinet. That's cabinet level. And then there are curriculum people that work with both Lorene and Renee, if we continue with that example. And so they may be content people Stephanie Petito, for example, is an administrator in the curriculum side of technology. And then the content coaches, we have math, reading, or ELA. So some examples. So those people aren't listed here, but they work with, under, like a better term, under these head administrators.
So I guess to be fair to somebody who might ask for this, can we get something that's kind of, I understand there's overlap, everybody helps each other out. This person does this, first person does this column, that column, and that column. Can we get an idea of who all these people are? You just brought up some names.
So
Their
you'd
names
like to
aren't here.
expand it, yeah.
Who are, all this is the organizational chart. There clearly are more people here who do these jobs or help
So are you
that aren't
asking
listed here.
like the secretary? level
Anybody.
Staff?
Anybody that helps out in these areas here, central office, anybody that works in central office.
I guess basically, it looks, and I might be wrong, but it looks like there's a lot of silo.
I don't know. That's what I'm trying to find out. So let me give you an example. Let me give you an example, all right? At the comptroller's office, there's a comptroller and assistant comptroller, and then there's two clerical people. That's, you go to the treasurer's office, there's a treasurer, assistant treasurer, two clerical people. You go to the clerk's office, there's a clerk, an assistant clerk, and three clerical people. Right? That's a table of organization that would make sense to somebody so they understand, I'm applying for a job. Now, obviously you could continue to break it down by school, but I think somebody has to have an understanding of this part right here, central office.
Okay.
Who works there? What are their responsibilities?
Anyone at central office, including clerical staff.
Yeah.
Not the names.
We don't need names.
Positions.
I think we just need to understand, we have a person in charge of that, like Melanie. Well, how many people work in your office? Do you have an assistant? All right, so it would be Melanie and then four people underneath it,
Okay.
right? Yeah,
Yes.
that gives us I think somebody that's applying for the job, an understanding of, we gave them all the basics, like, the community breakdown, is how many schools
Yep.
there are.
From this chart, it looks like 2 middle school principals report to Melanie. Just because of the way it,
Yeah, again, it's under that entire rectangle, and so all of the central office cabinet work with the principals in different capacities. But
see what you're saying.
so
That's
Yeah.
confusing.
Yeah, I think we're generalizing here.
Chris, you,
Yeah, I mean,
no, he wants.
we just got through, Lorraine was just here and she said, we're hiring people that are going to help to develop more strategic, curriculum and more strategic software resources to help help students. So if that person doesn't work for one of these principals, I'm sure that person's in here somewhere, right? All right. So those people don't report to you. So put them in there. I mean, they report to them. So somebody has to have beyond the school-based structure, you have to have an understanding of all this other stuff. It's only fair to the person that's applying for the job that they understand. It's what we do. And this is what we do. And this is how many people do it. They may want to run for the hills, if they find out there's too many, not enough. I don't know. I don't know the situation, but it's only fair that they not learn this later on. Josh.
I think maybe in some other more traditional charts is not so much information as what people do, as much as there are the positions, the titles, and the.
That's even fine. That's fine.
So it's you take away a lot of that stuff that describes what they do, and it's just the person who runs that area, the people who report to the chain of command type stuff, and maybe on a separate section you would spell out what they do.
Yeah, that's fine. I think you're the people there.
And if there's somebody, maybe they're only part-time,
Yeah.
in here and part-time someplace else.
Does that make sense, Steve? You want to?
I think so.
All right. Josh, I think explained it perfectly. Say that one more time.
Yes.
you know, titles, positions.
Yeah.
And cut out a lot of the chain of command. Cut out a lot of the responsibilities, and some of them are shared anyway.
All right, nice. That was a lot shorter than I thought. Got right to the point. All right, thank you, everyone. And now we'll move on to approval of the minutes. You may. A second.
Second.
Okay, Sandy is a second. Is there any questions or comments? Errors, omission? Did you spell your name right? Got everything right? Okay. All in favor? Those opposed? Nice job, Chris. Policy Subcommittee?
Yes, we met tonight and we are still going through the handbook. And we've gone through a bunch and some of it needs to be tweaked. And we'll just keep plodding along as we go through. So we're not ready at this point to
That's fine.
present it to the committee.
If you also want to take, gentleman that spoke before us tonight, you also want to take that and sort of
Yes,
help us
there's,
sift through some of that.
sure,
at the
that
next
there's some
policy
state
committee.
laws that we've already
All right,
encompassed in our policy.
finance updates? You didn't spend any money, Melanie, since the last meeting? Melanie? Investing.
Committee did not meet, so we no report on that, but we do have a few action items
Okay.
below that, if
Yes.
you don't mind.
No,
There is a field trip request for approval in there.
yes.
And as was in our student report,
Mhm.
the theater, I believe it's a theater group, made state finals.
Yes.
And so they are looking to go overnight from 21 to 3:23.
It's next weekend.
Yes, we're gonna do a quick turnaround for them and
What we do?
well, I mean, they did get a win out of, I think it's 14 other.
And it's the first time in
Theater group.
14 years they've.
Yeah, it's pretty
Yes, so
good.
they're very excited. They contacted us in a frenzy to say, what do we do
Right.
and how do we get there?
Perfect timing.
Yes, so they are looking for an
So
approval
do
for the.
we have a
overnight.
motion on that? Melissa makes a motion, Ron makes a second. Any questions or comment? If not, all in favor? All right, so off they go.
And
good
along
luck.
the same lines.
Yes,
That trip obviously costs money.
yes.
So we are looking to approve out of the Kendall Fund, which is the high school Kendall revolving, $2,500 to give to them for their expenses.
Okay.
To help them get to the overnight trip.
And that's an allowable expense, correct?
It is
that a
because
Kendall?
it's the high school.
Mr. Sal made a motion. We have a second by Melissa. All in favor? Those opposed? All right, now they have money.
I've got one more.
One more.
So it was brought to our attention that we had a lane change matter that was incorrect
Mhm.
from many moons ago.
Yes,
And so we are now just trying to resolve that issue.
okay.
It is prior year, so we do have to pay it out of school choice. So
What
I'm
happened?
looking
Will you give us a
for-
general idea?
Yeah, I'm looking for a vote. It's $4,802.98. And that will correct the lane change for the individual and bring them where they are supposed to be.
So they got a lane change, but it never, somebody missed it. It didn't.
I don't have the
Compute.
particulars of the personal information, but it was brought to our attention. We looked into it with our lawyer. And they did come down to that this individual should get credits for their lanes.
All
It's educational,
Yeah.
basically.
We'll take a vote, make sure there's a letter to the file in case the auditors see it, they'll know
Absolutely.
exactly what it is, you know. All right, Mr. Ron makes
And
the
I'll second
motion.
it.
Eileen makes the second. All in favor? Those opposed? Okay, we made a wrong or right, right?
See, you spent money too.
Well, we invested it. We made a wrong or right. I have a question for Mr. Tyler. So you're graduating. You'll be the first, you'll be the first class who is affected by COVID. All 4 years. You'll be the only, correct? So I was thinking of seeing if we could direct the superintendent to come up with some sort of a survey. Easy, nothing that's going to stop you from graduating. It's just to get some general ideas about not only that experience, but your experience through the, well, about that particular, but just your experience about the last 4 years and how ready people feel, nothing that we're, you know, it's going to stop anybody. Just a sense of how students feel leaving after probably something that, you know, hopefully, like on plastic, will never happen again. Yeah, just an idea, like, hey, I think I'm ready. I mean, are there some beneficial, you know, there's this, do I feel better prepared knowing I just made it through something that probably only, yeah, just see what kind of input. You know, questions could be made up by the, you know, students themselves, the school counselor, teacher, whoever, I don't know. You know, 10 easy questions, just a sense of things. I think it's a historical moment in time that I don't think there'll ever be another sort of pandemic, but we don't know. But I'd certainly be interested to see what the students think about all this, you know, after going through it. Everybody else okay with that? I mean, just nothing sneaky or anything, just general questions, you know, in fact, if anybody here has a question you want to put in there, try to come up with. No, not at all. I'm going to say, bring a magician and make it all go away. It never happened.
We don't want to just be sudden developing something out of.
About what they think.
There must be a format that somebody. We can't be the only ones.
We are so original, Ron, that we invented that color blue. Okay? So noted. We have exclusive rights on it. We have the pattern. Okay, we are now down to approval of expense out of school choice.
We already did that. So we just need.
Any old business or new business?
So I saw,
Yes, Eileen.
I have-
Sandy.
Oh, I'm sorry.
that's right. I saw that we've got the Day in the Hill coming up soon. I know typically Ron goes. I don't know if anybody else was planning on attending, but wanted to make folks aware that it's always good to have representation there. Is it April 6th or something? I don't know the date offhand. I'm sorry.
Never. Leave early.
Leave early. So maybe it's the 10th or something. I don't know. I don't have it on me. But we all got something in the mail about it, but I just wanted to make sure that folks were aware of it. And if people can go, we should have representation.
All right. Let Chris know or Ron know or something. You going again this year, Ron? They expect you to be there, Ron. Everybody there, including security, knows who you are. Oh, you can take the subway, the train, and then take the bike. Blue bike, which was coined after our Leominster Blue, by the way. All right. Anything else on the
Sandy
new world
had
business?
something.
Sandy had something?
Thing
Yes.
under new business with regard to this, is the handbook, the high school handbook. And something with regard to the attendance that's concerned me. You look at, okay, so the handbook, page 27, it talks about the absenteeism and what's acceptable and what needs to be done in order to correct it or address it.
Mhm.
When I look at those days, and several people have contacted me regarding this because they're concerned. All right, look at the number of days. We're talking about the 20 days. They should not exceed 20 days. If you look at MGL, chapter 76, with regard to kids 6 to 16, they're talking 7 days per 6 months, not to exceed 14 days in a given school year. So I'm a little bit confused. I mean, I thought that state law superseded local. So that is unclear. And I know that, as I said, the faculty is very concerned because that's a lot of time to enable kids.
So you're saying our policy allows more.
There was a
Typo?
typo because that I thought it said 10 days. So I'm wondering if there was a typo, but
Well,
we can take a look at it. We
please
haven't
do,
gotten
Eileen, because
to that.
Yeah, because that's a huge number of days to
Well,
be
there-
absent
you
from
could file
school.
a CRA, things like that. next year graduation, you're to the next
All right,
grade.
let's find out.
Yeah, because I know that it's also been mentioned that if they're not in attendance, that they will not pass the course. Well, that's fine, but that's a knee-jerk reaction. Because I noticed looking at the state information, all the data, we're one of those schools where there's a huge concern for the amount of absenteeism. We're
So-
right up there.
We pay for the Mass Association of School Committees, so we should refer it to them, see if they'll interpret it, rather than sending it off to the attorney that we're gonna have to
Mhm.
pay. I mean, we pay our dues, and they should know the answer to this.
Yeah, we'll double check
does.
because that doesn't make any sense. And the attorneys just reviewed the handbook that we're going through. Because
check.
we haven't
Yeah, please
completed it.
do.
So we'll just double check that and we'll put that on our next policy committee, Chris.
And it does get a bit confusing because when you're at the high school, let's say that a student doesn't come in certain periods. So then it becomes more complex. Because if a kid isn't coming in first period, but then shows up second, third, fourth, and leaves again sixth period.
Well, there should
You
be a
know?
whole thing on there about, like tardiness and what is acceptable and isn't acceptable. Because if you have a doctor's appointment and a note from your parent is one thing as opposed to you just skip first period.
Right, and of course, some of them are scanning their attendance notes. What you can do about that, and
No.
we have to keep on top of
But
it.
the
It does-
parent
it
should be
does
calling
happen.
in to the front office to say that their child's going to be late. And as well as absentee, whether they
The
do that or not is
absenteeism,
another thing.
yeah, well, I know, and we can only control so much. It's
Mhm.
just that I think we should be aware of it. and
Nope,
We should
we're
be
gonna check
looking
it out.
into it.
Yeah,
Good
no,
catch.
thank you for bringing it up.
Anything else?
Oh,
May
May 6th.
6th.
So good. I got the 6 right, just not the month.
So if anybody wants to go.
I know, it just came to me.
She was just checking to see how.
See if
memory
you're on
was.
top of it.
Just seeing if you.
Obviously, my memory is not good. So May 6th,
Busy schedule. All right, motion
Thank you, Chris.
to adjourn.
I make a motion to adjourn.
All right, anybody that wants to stay is welcome to stay.